Dion and Pilar Sanders, they had their custody hearing yesterday, began the custody proceedings yesterday. An interesting case. We all know that, you know, the details that have come out so far, but there have been two incidents recently, I guess in recent weeks, where police have been called to the home, and of course they're not living together anymore, so I don't know what kind of incidents those were, but certainly the subject of domestic violence comes up when you're talking about that case or so many others.
Right.
And you were talking this morning in the makeup room about Mayor Rawlings and what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the mayor stepping out the way he is to support, and he specifically said women, and saying that men need to, you know, be stronger. They're not real men if they beat up on women.
Yeah.
And so he's going to actually be in New York tomorrow speaking at the United Nations about this issue. Yeah. And the first thing I thought was, what motivated him, you know, to come forward? I know Emmett's involved, Troy Aikman's involved, and some other athletes.
Because they're doing a march, right?
Yeah. Yes, March the 23rd here in Dallas. And he just said that his mom passing motivated him, and the fact that here in the state of Texas, and specifically in Dallas, the numbers are so high for the call-ins for domestic violence. I think there was 13,000 last year, and then I think, 26
Yeah, there were 26
cases.
Specific homicide cases in Dallas this past year, and 90% of them were against women, men against women in a domestic violence situation.
I wonder why that is in Dallas County, because you'd think that, and this is a stereotype, obviously, that it would have something to do with you know, income levels, and you know, it's Dallas County seems like it would be more affluent, and you think that those things don't happen in that type of.
I think a lot of people
but
think of
do.
beating up on women it being something of low class, or that people weren't raised correctly.
Right.
And I think a lot of it is just temper, and a man who's just, like Mayor Rawlings said, not a man. Like, you are not a man if you strike a woman, period.
And, you know, what's interesting in the research, they're showing that it's happening in some of our wealthier neighborhoods, but it's such a secret. It's a silent situation, and that's what's so dangerous about it, that there are so many women that are living in silence. You know, they're living
because
these beautiful
they're scared,
homes.
because they can't leave, because they have these great house and these great, you know, black Amex cards, and they can't leave, you know,
because
so
women are controlled
inferior.
sometimes by money, and that's, you know, if that's their livelihood, then it can be, I guess, a difficult situation to leave.
And something that the mayor said that I think was really important, you know, when he referenced his mother, he said, my mother taught me the importance of valuing women. And he goes, I think it starts in the adolescent age of women, you know, not that it's women's, you know, mothers' responsibilities to teach their sons, but if somebody didn't teach a son or a child, you know, a young man, how to treat a woman, then he's like, now it's time for fellow men to step up and say, your mom might have taught you this, your dad might not have taught you this, but now it's never too late to learn
and he
how to treat a woman.
And he says it's social, because, you know, one of the reporters this morning kept pushing him on, what are we going to do about the laws? He goes, you know what, that's a separate situation, but as men, we got to keep,
it's a social responsibility.
Yes, we have to hold each other accountable. He said, just remember, like back in the day when you could just throw trash out the car window, and it was accepted.
Yeah.
It's no longer accepted. Think about it. When you see somebody do that, it's like, ooh.
And I'd like
Yeah.
to think that domestic violence has never been, you know, something that's acceptable, but
like, we need to call each other out on
true.
it.
And I'll tell you,
specifically,
as a woman who's raised 4 young boys who are growing into, thank goodness, you know, wonderful young men.
Yes.
It's important to remember also that domestic violence isn't just about hitting someone. I mean, there are
like
a million different ways to
abuse
abuse someone. And I mean, I've had friends and I've been in situations before where the person you're with can say some really ugly, horrible things.
But I would rather be hit than hear those things.
I've said that before, like, yeah, that what's worse, really, you know, when it's damaging
your
you
self-esteem
on some level.
Right,
So,
and those words have the tendency to repeat themselves in your mind.
that's what my
Even
mother
when the
always
relationship is over.
Yep, you can't unring a bell.
Yes.
You say it, it's out there.
Ooh,
you can
you
apologize
can't
for
unring a
it, but
bell.
you
I like
can't
that.
take it back.
No, I'm serious. Stuff that has been spoken to me by men in my past, it still resonates. So sometimes if I'm insecure about things, people say, well, I don't understand. I'm saying, you just don't know until you've been in that situation and those words continue to ring through your mind.
Yeah.
It's taken years of just me growing spiritually to be able to fight those messages that were planted.
And then it replays itself sometimes with your security level in your next relationship.
That's it. So that's it. So yeah, it's just huge, and I'm really, really excited about what the mayor's doing.
Yes,
I'm
kudos for him
proud to be
speaking
from
out
Dallas
about it.
and
Yeah.
that he's doing that. So, way to go, Mayor Rawlings.
Yeah.